and welcome to today's class on the topic of community of learning. Before we begin, take a moment to check that you have completed the audio setup, that you have put your hand down, your cell phone is turned off, your door is closed, and all outside distractions are eliminated. At this time, you should be focused on today's class only, and all other worries should be pushed to the side to wait until class ends. In addition to making sure that all of your environmental distractions are eliminated, please make sure the red record button in the top right corner of the screen is on. If you can see the red record button, please click on the green check mark. I will wait until everyone has a green check. Thank you. Give me just a minute to clear all the green checks. Okay, also, if you can read the words quality check at the top right of your screen, please click on the green check mark again. Again, I will wait until everyone has checked it. Thank you. And again, give me just a moment to clear out all of the green check marks. Just so everyone is aware, I will not be available this coming weekend due to a family commitment. If you have any questions about the projects you are working on, make sure you post the questions in the class discussion forum. Help each other out by answering the questions to the best of your ability. If there are still unresolved questions when I return on Monday, I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. Without further ado, hello again and welcome to today's class. Also, hello to all of our virtual listeners who cannot join us today. I am Grace Grager, and today is January 24th, 2015. During today's class, we will be learning about the Community of Inquiry Framework, otherwise known as COI, developed by Garrison, Anderson, and Archer. Make sure that you have the textbook, E-Learning in the 21st Century, a Framework for Research and Practice, 2nd edition, by Randy Garrison, on hand just in case you would like to refer back to it at any time during today's presentation. Before we begin today's presentation, I would like for you to watch the 2 videos I have posted. If the video does not play for you, click on the links I added to the chat box. Make sure that you watch both videos. If you give me just a second, I'll make sure we get the first one loaded.
PC load letter? What does that mean? Yeah, that's it.
Okay, if you give me just a second, I will get the second video loaded.
That's what I need. Let's do that. Let's do exactly that.
No, not again. Why does it say?
Here we go. All right, I apologize to anyone if that was a little too loud with the background noise on either of the videos. Hopefully you adjusted your own headphones to accommodate for that. However, now that you have finished watching the videos, move yourself to your group's room and explain to your group members which one of the 2 videos best describes your experience with online learning as the educator, meaning you are the one who designed and developed the class. Make a list of everyone's responses on the whiteboard. Make sure that you use the text tools that you learned how to use in this class 2 weeks ago. I will give your group about 10 minutes to watch the videos and discuss your answers. Go. Okay, Anna, why don't you share for group number 1? What did you guys come up with and why? Okay, thank you for sharing. Group 2, Brian, please speak for your group. What did you guys decide and why? That is very interesting. We will actually go over that in a later class. Melanie, go ahead and share for group 3. What were your answers and why? Okay, thank you guys for sharing. And Jacob, why don't you finish us out by sharing for group 4. What did you all decide and why? Interesting, thank you. And thank all of you for being honest with your responses. It has been very interesting to hear all of the different experiences that you guys have had in the past. If you could relate to the second video more than the first, you are very lucky indeed. Most of us can relate to the first video more than the second one when we begin to teach in online situations. Chances are, as the educators, we did not set up our learning environments so that it triggered higher thinking skills, or otherwise known as community of learners, for our students. Just as it did for me, I am sure that this has caused some of you a great deal of frustration. In order to make learning more effective online and reduce your frustration as an educator, I recommend that you use the Community of Inquiry framework. The Community of Inquiry is made up of the three elements: social presence, cognitive presence, and teacher presence. We will begin with social presence. Social presence is how well the group of learners can come together to create an environment that is friendly, supportive, and cohesive. Ultimately, the goal is for every person involved to feel like they belong. In order to create a friendly environment, you and your students can use greetings as well as encouragement. Also, call on students by name, praise them when they participate or do well on projects, and ask for them to share personal stories about their learning experiences. Even though it is important for everyone to feel like they belong to the group, it is even more important that the individuals remain open and honest in their communication. Even though it is important to create a friendly atmosphere, the main goal of the group is to learn. In order to learn as much as possible, the participants need to be able to discuss ideas, opinions, and content critically. They need to be able to safely ask questions of others and challenge the status quo. Let's review what we have learned so far about social presence. Which of the following ways can you help create a safe environment where all learners feel included? If you give me just a second, you can click and choose A, B, or C as your following answers. Okay, now that we have A, B, and C selected, your answer choices are A, call on quieter students to share how they are doing in their learning. B, allow an opinionated student to railroad the rest of their group with their ideas. Or C, laugh at the student's answer when they get it wrong. I'll wait until everyone has answered. It looks like the majority of you chose answer A. In the text chat below, explain why you chose that answer. Again, I will wait until everyone has answered. Yes, correct. Calling on students will help them feel more involved in the class, which will ultimately help them feel like they belong. Good job, guys. The second element that makes up a community of inquiry is the cognitive presence. According to our textbook, Garrison states that cognitive presence includes reflection and sustained discourse in order to deepen our thinking and connect prior knowledge to the newly learned content. The practical inquiry model is best suited to develop cognitive presence in a community of inquiry. The first phase of the practical inquiry model is the triggering phase. In this phase, you are trying to get the student's attention about a problem or an issue that needs resolved. Essentially, you are trying to hook them into the lesson by getting them interested and excited about the learning that is about to take place. I recommend using a thoughtful question, a short activity, or a quote. The second phase of the practical inquiry model is all about exploration. During this phase, the students begin to explore the problem at hand by learning more about it and brainstorming ideas. Students can explore content on their own, in small groups, or as an entire class. The third phase is called integration. During this third phase, students are making connections with the content and probable solutions are developed. Students can develop solutions by reflecting on how the content would affect them personally, or by building on each other's ideas. The last phase of the inquiry model is the resolution phase. In this phase, students apply their possible solutions to the problem at hand in order to see if they work. In other words, students test their solutions to see if they fix the original problem. Students may test these problems in the real world or hypothetically. Let's take a moment to review what you have learned about the cognitive process and the practical inquiry model so far. When I say go, pause for a few minutes and jot down at least 3 ways you can include the practical inquiry model in your own classroom. I will give you about 5 minutes. Go. Welcome back. The third element that makes up the community of inquiry is teacher presence. This does not mean that the teacher is just present for an hour or so during the said class. Instead, teacher presence means that it is the educator's responsibility to design and develop a class that enables students to reach higher levels of thinking. This responsibility includes organizing the curriculum, providing the ground rules for student interactions with one another in the online environment, making sure all students stay involved in the learning process and that learning stays on track, and incorporating meaningful activities. So how can an educator improve their teacher presence in an online environment? In just a moment, everyone is going to move themselves to their groups. While in your groups, I would like for you to brainstorm all of the ways an educator could improve their teacher presence. Make sure to use your text buttons to the left of your whiteboard to jot down your ideas. I will give your groups 8 minutes to brainstorm. At the end of the 8 minutes, I will move you back to the main group. Go. Okay, welcome back. We'll start with Group 4. Group 4, what did you guys come up with? Very good. And on to Group 3. Group 3, who's going to be your spokesperson? Andrew? Okay, go ahead. What did you guys come up with? Interesting. And Group 2? Okay, thank you guys for sharing. And last but not least, Group 1. What did you guys come up with? All right, great job, you guys. Everybody, you came up with a lot of great ideas. Interesting. I look forward to you incorporating them later on in your projects. So, what have we learned today? To summarize, it can be frustrating to teach an online class. Many of us are used to the traditional classroom, and we need to think in new and different ways in order to make our online classes more meaningful for our students. Using the community of inquiry model can help us educators to develop these higher thinking learning environments. The community of inquiry model is made up of 3 elements: social presence, cognitive presence, and teacher presence. Essentially, these 3 elements boil down to the fact that we want our students to feel like they belong in the class, while, at the same time, being able to share their honest, critical opinions and ideas. In addition, we want to stimulate higher levels of thinking in our students. Also, what we do as educators sets the tone for the online class environment and determines how much the students will actually learn. All 3 of these elements build on each other and are necessary for a successful online class. Thank you for attending today's class. In just a moment, I would like everyone to go to their groups to discuss anything that your groups need to talk about. After that, you are free to leave. For anyone who would like to stick around after their group discussions, I will be here for another 10 minutes or so to answer questions. If any of you virtual listeners have a question, feel free to email me or ask on our class forum. Otherwise, you all have a great week, and I will see you next week at the same time and same place for our next class. Go ahead and move to your groups now.